It is currently the month of July, and I thought it would be really fun to do like a mid-year check-in on games that I've beaten already this year, and kind of go over the games a little bit, what I liked, what I didn't like about them, and then at the end making a list of my top 1 through 8, because I have beaten 8 games this year and I want to talk about them right now. The very first game on my list was Alice Madness Returns, which I played that on the PlayStation 3, and that was a recommendation from Jen from Retrorivals, which we ended up doing a swap. I played Alice Madness Returns, and she played Fable 2. 2 games that both of us can not stop talking about. And if you had not checked out her review on Alice Madness Returns, it's one of my all-time favorite videos they've ever made. Go and check that out. But Alice Madness Returns is a dark turn or take on the traditional Alice, where you are a girl who has lost her mind previously but is getting it back. But slowly you're slipping back into madness, and you have to fight your way through the kingdom to basically get it back. And there's a twist at the end, and it's actually a very interesting game. Now, the gameplay is pretty repetitive, and it's a hack and slash game with a little bit of puzzle aspect to it. That's kind of the premise of the game, but a lot of the puzzles kind of rinse and repeat themselves, so you're doing the same thing kind of over and over again. But the atmosphere of the game, the different levels, and like I said, you're going to play it mainly for the story. It is a game worth playing and adding to your collection if you haven't played it already. I would say my favorite levels were kind of the more Japanese themed ones, which I think was somewhere around the Caterpillar. I played this one at the very beginning of the year, so I don't exactly remember. And then I also liked when it switched into this 2D kind of platforming. That was a very unique thing to add to the gameplay. This second one was a major surprise to me, and the reason I really wanted to play it was because Unnecessarily Ramblings, Brandon, and Mundane Designs, Matt, was talking about this game in a long form content, and when they were talking about it, it was just a game that really sounded fun. So Sleeping Dogs for the PlayStation 4, the definitive edition, was the next game I played, and I was severely addicted to this game. Now, I did play it on the PS5, and it did crash a lot, so if you're going to play this game, I would recommend, if you still have a PS4, play it on the PS4 to avoid those crashes. I was able to make it through the entire game on the PS5, but the crashes did get annoying. But in this game, you're playing a cop, and you're undercover trying to infiltrate essentially the Triad. And so you go through the game basically trying to balance the two of still being a cop, but also trying to get information. And this game, you really, again, you play it for the story. And I would argue that Sleeping Dogs storyline is better than any Grand Theft Auto game that I've played. And the missions are interesting. Like I said, the storyline, especially I would say it's not halfway through, but a quarter way through the game, something major happens, and I won't spoil it for you, but it really tugged at my heartstrings because I was really learning to like a particular character, and then something happens. And the game is just really interesting because the cops are kind of questionable, the Triads are also, but there's this big war throughout the game, and I don't know, you just really gotta play it. It's really hard to explain, but I truly enjoyed my time with it. The supercar that you get eventually into the game, I thought that was a little bit out of place, and I think if any video game deserves to get a movie adaptation, Sleeping Dogs is definitely the game that deserves it. I think that this would make an amazing script, and I think it is absolutely insane that we haven't gotten a second one for this title. Something else I forgot to mention about Sleeping Dogs is the environments. Although the map isn't massive, it's so full and lively that you don't really care that the map isn't that big, and the environment around you really feels like it's living and breathing, and people interact with you. And when you go to the shop and you don't buy anything, they give you crap for it, and people are always saying things, and people will randomly steal purses from people and you can help them out. But the environment was another one of my favorites, and then some of the suits that you could buy that were themed to other video games was really fun. But this game has a lot of charm and wit, and it's just actually a pretty funny game in general with a lot of serious moments. The third game on my list, and I don't know why it took me so long to play this game, Spiderman for PlayStation 4. This game, like everybody else, completely blew me away. It is everything I wanted in a Spider-Man game and more. Being able to swing through New York, being able to develop different suits and techs, and although I wasn't the best at using the techs, I just liked beating people up. Learning how to utilize those different things throughout your missions. I wasn't the most stealthy when it came to the Spider-Man game, but I do appreciate everything they put into the game, and the story was great. I'm not a big Marvel person, I'm not a big superhero person, but this game really made me re-fall in love with Spider-Man. And if you've never played this game, you are completely missing out. It is dirt cheap. And I plan to continue playing the Spider-Man games. But I don't know what I would say is like my exact favorite thing about the game. I just know that it really made me feel like I was Spider-Man, and that was one of the really cool things. There's a lot of side content. Like Harry has like these science buildings that you can go like try to figure out who's polluting something or who's, why electricity isn't working or something like that. You can go find backpacks. There's a lot of like collectibles. So if you're somebody who really likes doing the kind of nitty-gritty like little collectible things, then this game is good for you. But you don't have to do that. Now you do get like upgrades as a result of doing these things. Like you collect them and you get these like tokens, and then the tokens can unlock stuff. So there is like a reason to do them, but they're also pretty fun and they add to the storyline. Not so much the backpacks, but it's still fun to try to go around and collect them. And although a little tedious at times, it was still a very, very entertaining game. I also really liked the idea of the bad guy. Like I said, I'm not really like a big Marvel person, so the main bad guy, which I won't spoil it for you guys, I don't know if he is traditionally in them, but I didn't recognize him, and so it was kind of like this fresh new take on somebody, and it really put a nice twist into the story of, somebody that you want to like, but you learn to hate. Number 4 on my list, Mario Wonder for the Nintendo Switch. This game, I was waiting to buy it to kind of hear what people were thinking, and then I just ended up buying it. And so I figured since I paid the full price for it, I might as well sit down and actually play through it. And this game was a lot more fun than I thought it was going to be. I think that Mario games have been very like hit and miss, whereas like the 2D side-scrolling games have really not been capturing my attention. The games like Mario Odyssey, I think, are like blowing out of the park. So you kind of get a flip of a coin when it comes to Mario games, because they're either going to blow you away or they're just going to be like another side-scrolling Mario game just like every other. But this one had a lot of character to it. It was the first one with the new voice of Mario in it, and I loved like the vibrance, the colors, and then of course every time you hit the Wonder Flower, the entire level like trips out. You're basically on an acid trip, and then you have to make your way through the level collecting Wonder Seeds, which when you select the Wonder Flower, you have to figure out how to get that seed, and then there's usually one at the end. But I liked the voice acting, I liked the animations, I thought it gave them a lot of character. I thought that the levels were unique enough that it was keeping me interested, and you just never knew what was going to happen, and you got a lot of like what the hell moments with it, which made it a really entertaining Mario game. So I doubt the game has dropped in price. I think you do get your bang for your buck if you're going to play through the whole game and like the bonus levels and like collectibles for $60. But if you want to play it just for like the main Mario game, I would wait till it at least drops to like $40. This next game I played from beginning to end in one sitting. I think it took me roughly about 8.5 hours. No More Heroes 2 Limited Run Edition for the Nintendo Switch. I had never played a No More Heroes game before. Essentially, you're like an assassin where you have to build yourself up a list of people, so you have to kill people to get up the list, the rankings. And there's some interesting like mini games where like you can feed your cat and make him skinnier because he's too fat at the beginning of the game. There's side jobs that you can do that are like little like retro arcadey games, kind of like in the like Space Invader style, which is really interesting, and they unlock as you go throughout the game. The game is very, very like over the top early 2000s humor, so if you like that kind of stuff, it's going to be the perfect game for you. It's very like hack and slash. It's very funny, but if you take things a little bit too seriously, it might not be the game for you. The end boss, I won't spoil it for you, but that was a very interesting character that you had to fight at the end to get to the top of the list. But the game is very entertaining. It's a very quick game, so if you're looking for something that is just over the top, you don't have to think that hard, and it's something that you want to spend like a crazy amount of time on, and you can still pick it up for cheap, I would definitely pick up No More Heroes 2 for the Switch. Very slowly but surely, I've been working my way through the Yakuza series. I have all of them for the PlayStation 4 and the newest one that I think is also on the PlayStation 4, but I've only played 0 and 1, and now I've finally beaten 2, and the game felt quite a bit shorter compared to the other ones, and I don't think I skipped a lot of the side stuff. It just felt very short. Now, Yakuza Kiwami 2 is a remake of a PS2 title, so that could be the reasoning. But the game was just as fun in it, as any other Yakuza game. Now, they do feel a little bit like rinse and repeat when you go from like 0, 1 to 2, because they all seem like they're the same engine, and they pretty much have the same like side things that you can do throughout the city. But it is still a very entertaining game. You can get a lot of the Yakuza games for pretty dirt cheap these days, so if you haven't dived into the series, start with 0, the prequel, Kiwami 2, 1 and 2, and then there's a collection of 3, 4, and 5, where 5 never got a physical release, so if you buy the collector's edition, you'll actually get like a PS3 box that like kind of helps you fill your collection, but it's a cool way to get it since it was only on the store. And then, of course, 6, which is one of the newer ones, which I think they like rebuilt the engine. But if you don't know about the Yakuza series, essentially you are a Yakuza member, and there's a lot of different like battles between you and other like gang members, and you just really got to play it. But it's definitely very interesting. It's very heavy on story, and not all of them let you select English, if I remember correct, so you do have to read subtitles. So if you're somebody who doesn't like to read a lot, which I'm not, but this game is so entertaining that I didn't mind, I would maybe avoid this, but if you are willing to give it a shot, I would say try the Yakuza series. Next on my list is Sayonara Wild Hearts for the Nintendo Switch. It is a like rhythm, visually like indie title almost, and so if you like rhythm games, this is a very short game. It didn't take very long to get through, but it does have a lot of replayability because the levels have like a rating system, so if you didn't get it right the first time, you can try again. I think the game is about a breakup. I honestly wasn't paying that close to the whole like overarching storyline, but it is visually awesome. The music is great, and the rhythm aspect of it, it's pretty much everything you'd want in a short rhythm game. It's very interesting. It's a little strange at first to kind of get your flow, but it does do well at like slowly introducing you to all of the functions of the game, and it can feel like pretty competitive to yourself, especially if you're somebody who likes to get high scores. And then very last on my list, and I just beat this yesterday, also another shorter game, Spider-Man Miles Morales. Now, I wasn't sure I was gonna like this title, just because I'm not really into the whole like Spider-Verse thing, because I'm very like loyal to the original Spider-Man, but I ended up really liking the game a lot. I thought it was visually stunning, which I think they did that on purpose since it was like one of the launches, I believe, for the PS5. So I kind of understand. So this one was like a little bit more like cinematic than the first one, which was fine. I wanted a little bit more action, and I wanted the game to be a little bit longer. So if I was somebody who had purchased this on day one and I'd paid the full price for it, I think I would have been a little pissed, just because you're not getting a lot of game for the money that you paid for it. Now, I picked it up for like $15 and I was totally happy with my purchase. The game story is very interesting. I also liked the bad guys in this one. One of my favorite parts of the game is you run into a girl, I think her name was Helynt, and they start doing sign language to each other, which if you don't know that about me, my mother is deaf, so having sign language in a game actually meant a lot to me. It definitely hit like an emotional chord for me. But the side missions were interesting. Miles, his character, can get a little bit of a little annoying because he tries to do these little quips, and but I think that's to his character because he's supposed to be this new, young, still learning Spider-Man, so I think they did that on purpose. But like again, I don't really follow the Spider-Verse stuff, so I could be completely off base with that. But if you can get past that, it is a very solid game to play through, and it really won't take you that long. And if you love the first Spider-Man, it's just a kind of a way to get a little bit more. And I can see where they're going with this because they're kind of teeing it up for the Spider-Man 2 game, which I'm definitely interested in picking up. I'm just waiting for that price to drop a little bit because I've got other games that I can play, so I'm not really in a rush to go spend $60 on another game title. So those are my 8 titles that I beat so far in 2024, and we're at the halfway point. I'm usually not good about beating video games, so the fact that I have 8 on my list, I'm insanely proud of. Now, that's not as much as like other people, but I am personally very proud of myself. And let's go ahead and switch on over to ranking these on my favorite to least favorite. That way, when we go to the end of the year, I can compare this list to whatever other games I have beaten and see how that list will evolve with the other titles that I've played. Okay, so on to the rankings. Now, I've got this tier system that everyone seems to be using, so I've never used it before, but let's start with kind of the games in order. I played Alice Madness Returns first. I'm thinking probably it's gonna be somewhere around 5 to 6 for me, because I played a lot of like AAA titles that did really well. Sleeping Dogs, like, for now, I'm gonna put it in like second, because I really enjoyed that storyline. Like, I'm telling you guys, like, if quote unquote, don't sleep on it, but if you've never played Sleeping Dogs, I would definitely do that. I guess not in order, because I'm just doing whatever. I think the one I enjoyed the least was probably Sayonara Wild Hearts, and it's not because it wasn't a good game, it's just, it was so short, and there really wasn't a lot of story to get attached to, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that one in 8 for now. Mario Wonder was a solid, like, that was a solid game. Like, that did pretty good, so we'll go, like, 4. I think I did enjoy Mario more than I enjoyed Alice. Not for, I guess I can't think of, like, a great reason other than Alice was a little bit more repetitive than I'd like. See, for me, Spider-Man, like, it, like, blew me away. But Sleeping Dogs was, like, a close, so I'm gonna put them side by side and get back to that one. No More Heroes 2. I think I enjoyed that more than I enjoyed Alice. I played it all in one sitting. I found it very entertaining. I like the early 2000s humor. I like things that are not so censored, you know what I mean? Kind of getting that feel for back in the day. I really like. Took me back to the way that things used to be. Yakuza. I felt like I just blew through the game. Like, at the start it was fine. I just feel like I kind of completely blew through it. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. It was decent. The ending, though, I forgot to mention the ending. No spoilers, but that ending was like top tier. So actually, that ending I think is gonna put it, oof, because that was a really emotional storyline. Now that I'm kind of remembering back now, so let's bump these down. And then I got an extra Sayonara here, so ignore that. Miles Morales, I enjoyed that. I actually enjoyed that a lot more than I thought. So I'm going to put that in 3rd. Because that was actually, I enjoyed it. Like, the whole game. I even after I beat the main storyline, I went ahead and went back. Mainly because I didn't feel like I got enough time with the game. But I went back and I went ahead and did some of the side stuff. I finished all of the mobile, like, stuff, the crime stuff. I didn't go collect everything because I felt like, you know, I kind of hit that point of I was done. But the side mission where you're collecting, like, the postcards from your dad, that was really sweet, too. So, let's see. For number 1, did I like Sleeping Dogs more than I liked Spider-Man? That's really hard, and I feel like this might change in the future. I really it, like, blew me away, but so did Spider-Man. Like, I don't know. That's really difficult. Like, these, I think these could be interchangeable for me. Oh, God. I think Sleeping Dogs, Spider-Man Morales, Mario, Yakuza, No More Heroes, Alice, and then I think that's going to be my list for now. We're going to revisit this at the end of the year and see how whatever games I beat after this, like games I'm currently playing, Sea of Stars, I'm about 15 hours in, I think, so I think I'm roughly about halfway there. Might be playing Mad Max. I don't know, that game's not really getting my attention, but I also want to try to play some more handheld titles, like PS Vita, Game Boy Advance, so those might be coming in. And then I'd like to throw in some retro, because a lot of these games are very modern, with, I guess, Alice being the oldest of them all, although No More Heroes was a remake. I'd like to throw some more retro in here so that it kind of mixes it up. I've been playing Sonic 2, I just haven't beaten it yet because I hate everything. But that's it for my list for now. I'm going to leave it there for now. But Spider-Man and Sleeping Dogs, I think those could change. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what games you've beaten this year, and, you know, what do you think of this, like, ranking system thing? Do you like that idea? But thank you so much for watching, and don't forget, there's a pixelated world waiting out there for you.